Well, good morning, everybody. Bill Devers, now I'm going to fall in love with your song instead of Vince's. Okay, so all about
Oh,
I'm all about the Wednesday song. Okay, that'll be stuck in my head. I Yeah, rate shoppers. I mean, tale as old as time, right? And so I have a couple tactics that I want to give you, and then a question that I want to ask. So one of them is, we talk a lot about lead creation, and the reason is, and what I love about this, and I would say love to hate in a way, is that whenever I'm feeling very emotional, how many of us get a little emotional around the rate shopper? How many of us let it sometimes, like, ruin our day? We talk about recovery rate and different things, or we get really caught up when they've told us day one who they are, but we just didn't believe them. We thought we could, we thought we could get through it without having to possibly drop rate, or, eventually doing a ton of work and then having to drop rate. And so I had that for a very long time. And actually, the very brilliant Jimmy Reed, I think, is the one that taught us this years ago. And I've had it written down forever. It's one of my go tos that I remind myself of. And so if you guys want to write this down, I think it'll help you. Out of all the leads that you get in a month, a third will not qualify. A third will shop you and choose somebody else. And a third will absolutely love you
mhm.
and work with you. What I love about that is that it takes the focus away a little bit from that darn shopper that maybe stole my life for this week because I'm so emotional about it because I put in all this energy, to did I have enough leads to create the pipeline I wanted regardless, right? So I just say that out loud. So that third, a third, a third, right? Whether it's call stars, whatever you're doing, if you're creating enough leads, how different does it feel if you have a rate shopper and the next hour you get three new leads? I'll tell you what, it's a quick recovery, right? That's a good antidote to a rate shopper. A couple contracts come in right after somebody left you. Whew, you breathe again, right? So the third, a third, a third, I think is just something that keeps my emotions in check, where I remind myself, okay, again, I think in Carl's brilliance at the last live event, which hopefully we get to see you guys in October, Carl had the room, about 15 people in the room of 100 raise their hand. And he said, now all these people shout no when I ask them a question, and all these people get to shout yes, right? Or excuse me, they get to shout yes. Only 15% was shouting the yes, I believe. Carl, if I'm recalling right. And it was such a powerful exercise. So just saying that out loud so that you can put yourself in check to think, hey, I had to have a no. It was bound to happen. Now that it's out of the way, let's move forward. In saying all of that, let's talk about what to do with the rate shopper and how to increase your conversion, because some of us are getting shopped too frequently and we're not trying to control the controllables. And so I think it's a really, like, I shifted a lot in my loan presentation for shoppers, and that's made a major difference. And so I guess my first question for everybody, if somebody had met with you in any fashion, whether it was a quick over the phone, text messaging back and forth, email, however you're doing your initial contacts, if you will, and or even a pre-approval consult or a loan consultation, however you're doing it, and then they left you to go to somebody else, would they be clear on what they were giving up?
Mm.
Would they be clear on what they were giving up? How many of you guys believe that people be really clear? You just walked away from me, right? Like, you just left Robyn LaVassaur and went to Joe Schmo. Was that a good move, right? And would your clients be able to feel and tell the difference?
So what do you mean that this is a see Frank, because Robin hadn't talked about it yet. I've never heard that before. That's really interesting. So Robin, number one, what do I say to make it clear? I guess there's two parts of that. What do I
Mhm,
do that they are leaving something of greatness, right?
mhm.
And then how do I tell them that without being a jerk? How do I tell, I don't know, David Bolton, he's getting ready to shop me and he's leaving me. How do I say to David, hey, David, you're really screwing up here. You're leaving Carl. Like, how do you say that in a way that doesn't come across as pompous?
Yeah. I mean, if you've done your job well, I don't think you actually have to say all that much, because they would notice the difference, right? It'd be noticeably different. How many of you guys have noticeably different, a local, maybe kind of dive restaurant, if you will, versus going to an elevated steakhouse. There's a noticeable difference, right? There's a choice, if you will, in the difference, right? There's a difference in driving a an older vehicle versus the newer versions of vehicles these days, right? Like there's a difference. And I'm not saying even that the car doesn't get you there, but there is a noticeable difference. In lending, I think we struggle, both in lending and real estate, honestly, to give people noticeable differences. So I would say one, the very first thing that I think is so important is actually having a process that you follow and you put people back into. I talk a lot about this. You put people back into your process period. We're the only profession that sometimes has a reactionary process that we throw everything out the window and just try to accommodate the customer immediately. It's like being a hot dog shop and trying to figure out if you can make a hamburger because somebody asked for a hamburger, right? Like
Mm,
it's like being a doctor's office. It's like, oh, I don't, okay, skip registration, no wait for you today. No, you don't have to do the blood pressure if you don't want to. Let's just come in and I'll get you a prescription. Like
mm,
those kind of things don't happen in, 99% of professions, but in mortgage and in real estate, and I believe it's because of that lovely 100% commission, right? That we just shift immediately and we kind of give away our power immediately thinking. And so one of the lines that I say in my head all the time to myself, because I'm a people pleaser, is catering is not caving. Catering is not caving. Caving would be, oh, sure, Carl, I'll just text with you. I'll skip my loan presentation. I'll get you over a fee sheet and see how we did. And if I'm fast enough and nice enough in that moment, maybe you'll stick with me. They're not going to feel a real big difference between Carl and Kristen at that point if each one of them rushed to just getting a fee sheet. Hey, we didn't make you pull credit. Neither one of us did, right? Sometimes that's how we're differentiating. Hey, we'll ask you for less documents, right? How many of you guys have tried to make it easier and faster for a client to see if that will make them stay, if that will make them happier with the process, and that will make them more attracted to you? I think we've all been there. I'm guilty of it for sure. And so it's a really big deal that you say, hey, no, this is a professional process. And so it's a longer, bigger class, but I'm going to abbreviate mine for a moment. A professional loan consultation, if it does one thing, even if they shop you, remember there's still a third that are going to leave you no matter what, right? But if a professional loan consultation changes everything, it should completely negate what another lender does in a million ways, where they might say, hey, I still ended up going to Kristen, but man, did Carl leave an impression. And when Kristen bobbles on her loan process, because loan processes are clunky and often painful for anybody doing them, no matter how great the borrower is, how nice the borrower is, they think, you know what? And some of my best clients came from the ones that shopped me, never used me, came back to me with referrals because of the exponential difference just in my loan presentation. And so the value of a loan presentation, you guys, one is establishing your value and your differences to the rest of the lending world. And if you don't establish that up front with them, and that's not let me tell you how great I am for about 20 minutes, right? Let's start there before we even focus on your loan. You don't have to do it that way. It's very much so. Some things that I love to remember. One is most important thing. Most important thing, MIT. I'm constantly focused on my loan consultation is a very education based loan consultation. And we're hyper focused on the client and their needs and their story so that I can then turn their story into a strategy and that strategy into the loan we execute. I go through that with the clients. Most important thing is everything all the way down, story being the most important, which is, the S that doesn't get in there. But I will go through with the client, hey, a loan consists of this, but your life is over here. So let's start with story, then let's go into most important thing. Most important thing is always for me, we're going to go through rate, we're going to go through total monthly payment, we're going to go through cash to close, and we're going to go through the actual house. And the house adds to the story a lot, you guys. Each one actually can add to the story, but you're really listening, really digging, really educating. You'll notice that one of the things I talk about first is interest rates. Sometimes we used to joke way back in the day, anybody been in this? I'm knocking on 30 years in October of 27. So anybody been in this business a really long time? Does everybody remember what they used to say about the one arm close that people used to do? you'd cover up your till, right? You'd cover up the APR so that they wouldn't be confused by the multiple interest rates that they see. So they called it the one arm close, that at the top of that truth in lending, you'd put your arm over the top. You avoided talking about rates and you focused heavily on just payment and cash to close. These days, consumers are so much more um, uh, prepared, if you will. They have ChatGPT in the world of Google and rates being thrown out in every direction. And so it is incredibly important that we just address it up front. So one of the things that I do right away is I'll talk about rates. I'll explain. Bill Devers does a great job explaining the market, right? Like, let's talk about the market. Let's talk about the lack of control. Let's talk about the rate changes that happen. Let's talk about qualifying you for a higher amount than what, you want the lowest rate. Let me shock you and go up versus down on all of these things. So there's so many pieces to rates that I would tell you guys not to avoid. And one of the key questions that I ask, I'll give you guys this one, is tell me what you know and understand about interest rates,
Ooh, that's
right? And then let them tell you. I think we have to go to I love the spinny. It's not just a wheel, we're not spinning the wheel, it's the spinning wheel. So Frank, what you got on the spinning wheel? I'll pause there.
Perfect. Thank you, Robyn. Hey, we're going to put the link in the chat once again for the $100 giveaway by Kelly Dutton, which we're going to get to in just a few minutes, just about 3 minutes. And there's a link in the chat. You click it, you put your name in to get on the spinny wheel to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So be sure to do that. Back to you,
Must be
Robyn. Thank you.
present to win.
Oh, yeah. Must be present.
Must
Yeah.
be present to win. Yeah.
Present
Yeah,
and on the screen unless you're driving and texting. So
yeah.
all the things. So needless to say, going through most important thing is incredibly important. Understanding what your commitment is to them in advance, but also asking them to commit back to you. Incredibly
Mhm.
important. And so, one of the things they need to feel like they're giving up. Some of us, we give away our value up front without any commitment from somebody, which is essentially saying, let me work for free in a way so that you don't understand how valuable it is and you won't miss it if it's gone because you think it's common. Maybe that's the, hey, I'm available. I work, nights, weekends. One of the things that I always say is, hey, let's look at the house. Oh, first time home buyer. Right now, that's the most heated market out there. We actually have the most competition around first time home buyer homes. I'll talk to them about the difference in a local lender, the difference between, and even if it's on Zoom, you guys, and you're not in the same town, don't use the word local at that point. Engaged lender, right? I'm going to call that listing
Mhm.
agent and help secure your offer, right? Our offers have a guarantee on it, right? Like all of the different things that you've come up with in value. If you haven't completed a true loan consultation with value and education, all of the things, it's a different class that if I'm, so graciously asked Frank and Carl, I would love to, I can do that on a different day, but it really is a class in itself to educate the borrower. And I'll kind of, I know we have to get to spinny wheels and those things, and I'm happy to open it up to Q&A. Let me ask you guys one more question or give you a takeaway to this. If you've done the job the right way, when somebody says to you, and this is how you know you're doing a really good job, hey, Kristen, you're so like, they're beating you. Is there any way you can compete? Is there any way you can come close?
Mm.
And if your answer is automatically, you see this fee sheet and you're like, oh, I can't do that. And that's one of the really the strongest things that you can do is not immediately go, let me see if I can match it. That feels like you just went to your manager's office at the finance office at the car dealership. And how many of you guys love that decision
Mhm.
making? It's like, am I dealing with the person that can answer questions or not? Right? Am I dealing with the empowered person? And so instead of saying, let me see if I can match it, hey, if they're asking you that, you might say, I know I can't match that. Shh. Well, can you come close? Is there anything, right? It's a big difference. I can see the difference, right? It's too much money to walk away from. And
Mhm.
so when you are saying that, so let's actually, you know what? I know I cannot match it, but what if I could? Chris, what if I could match exactly what Kristen has? Would you then choose me? And this is the magic, you guys. And if they say yes, yes, I'd love to work with you, Robyn. Why?
Mm.
Why? Tell me about that. You have taken all my phone calls. I've really enjoyed you. You were highly referred by Carl. You educated me so much on, I don't even know Kristen. I've just worked with her, over the email. Like my wife and I are very comfortable with you, whatever it says, right? I know that you offered to call the listing agent. I liked the appraisal process that you explained, right? All these things. You already have me pre-approved up front, right? You've issued like all the things. So it is fair that you understand that I can't match Kristen because Kristen and I don't have the same value.
Mm.
Does that make sense, you guys? There's a big difference. But if a borrower can't articulate anything beyond a fee sheet and the numbers as to why they would choose you, we're all in trouble.
Mm-hmm. And you know something else I found, Robin? And I think if I remember right, I either got this from you or Jimmy. I think it was from you. What I used to do is if I didn't win the deal and they shot me, I'd like, well, the heck with them and take them out of my database and never mess with them again. That was a mammoth mistake. Yeah, I found that we started getting referrals from people that didn't do loans with us. And so now when somebody bows out, I keep them in the database. We keep marketing to them. And I never, well, Robin, I did all this and that, and now you're going to like, that is the kiss of death. Like, don't ever, I can feel that. I can call up Kristen Simpson, my coworker, and I say, you know what they did? I can do that. It's not going to get me another loan, but I can do that. But,
Yes.
as long as I'm cordial, don't throw rocks, helpful, keep them on my database, market to them. I'll get referrals from those people that end up shopping me for somebody else. Like the engineers, I'll lose to the engineers. But hey, and I got one quick question. I know we got to get the spinny wheel.
Hmm.
Do you find that third, and third, is that a real number, or is that a little pessimistic, or
I
a third
actually,
don't qualify? I buy to that. I'm not sure if we get a third shopping us. That might be a
yeah.
little on the heavy side. But honestly, I don't know that I've actually counted it.
I think it's dependent on how you are referred by other people. And
Mm.
so how the
Where'd the
referral
lead come
comes
from?
in, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
where the lead comes from
yeah,
is a big one on there,
yeah.
but it tends to be fairly real. I think we
Okay.
often don't even realize that maybe somebody shopped us right up front. They have already talked to a couple lenders, whatever the case. Carl, there are plenty that yeah, if you're doing it right and you're creating enough leads, you can kind of
Mhm.
plan the very best that I've seen in the industry from lead all the way to true closing. If you're
Yeah,
truly tracking all leads across the board, all the way to closing, it's I mean, really good is 25% all the way to
I
closing of the
agree with
leads you
that.
create.
Yeah,
Excellent is 30 to 35%, and
yeah,
it's rare. I mean, and
yeah.
so it's, those are kind of the math and the numbers. The one last thing that I will tell you guys, if somebody just says rate is my most important thing, period, Robin, nothing is going to supersede that. I love to do a takeaway close in that circumstance. And so I'll end this and we'll spinny wheel. Frank, I say back to them, gosh, Frank, I want to take great care of you and Kristen. It's been so nice to meet you. I'm so glad that Carl referred you, right? I'm ad-libbing right now, but I'll go through it and then I'll just say, I understand that rate's the most important, and I have to be honest with you. Someone's going to do this cheaper for you. They're going to do it with a lower rate and lower fees. And it's online. And candidly, somebody will go lower than them and lower than them. So I'd like to be respectful and honor the wishes that rate is the single most important thing to you. And hopefully this was educational, and I'll stay in the wings if you need me, and you have trouble in the deal once you're, writing offers and getting into contract. But I'd like to put your information in bankrate.com, and you'll have about 80 people chasing you down to fight to the lowest rate and the lowest fees on the planet, and that will serve you.
Hmm.
And you guys, I think that people think I didn't say it. I said it every time somebody said rate was the number one. And so I would tell you guys, if you have nothing to lose, then lose everything in that moment and be okay with just the takeaway, because confidence is really attractive. And knowing what they're giving up yourself really helps somebody go, wait a minute, that doesn't sound all that great to have 80 different lenders texting and calling me, right? Like that doesn't, can we talk about this a little? You'd be shocked at
Hmm.
how many people are like, time out, because you've taken the wheel back over, right? You're driving the car. All right,
Hmm.
spinny wheel,
Good
spinny wheel.
stuff. Thank
Sorry.
you, Robin. Thank you, Robin, as always.